Stop scrolling. I need you to do me a favor. Open your doorbell camera app right now. Does it show a clear porch? Or is there a small glitch in the corner? Today's story is about a guy from Ohio who ignored that glitch for 3 days. By the 4th day, the glitch was standing inside his hallway. If you see anything moving behind me during this video, don't tell me. Just type "watching" in the comments and leave. Seriously, I don't want to know if he's here. Liam lived alone in the suburbs. It was 11:45 p.m. on a Tuesday. He was editing photos in his home office when his phone buzzed on the desk. "Person detected at front door." Liam frowned. He wasn't expecting any deliveries, and it was too late for friends. He opened the app. The night vision was grainy, flickering with digital noise. The porch looked empty. The street lamp outside was buzzing, casting long, shaky shadows. But Liam noticed something. A small distortion in the bottom left corner of the screen. A glitch. It looked like a cluster of pixels that didn't match the wooden floor of the porch. He zoomed in. His heart skipped a beat. It wasn't a glitch. It was a pair of dirty, old leather boots. The exact same boots Liam had thrown into a dumpster 3 years ago after his father's funeral. They were standing perfectly still, as if someone was wearing them. But the rest of the body was invisible to the camera. Stop. Look closely at your own screen right now. Is there a shadow in your room that looks just a bit too solid? Tell me in the comments if you've ever seen something that shouldn't be there in your house. The next night, it happened again. 3 a.m. Liam woke up to the notification. This time, the figure wasn't invisible. A tall man was standing directly in front of the lens. He was wearing Liam's favorite old gray hoodie, the one with the bleach stain on the sleeve. The man's head was tilted at an unnatural angle, almost 90 degrees. His face was a blur of static, but his posture, it was Liam's posture, the way he leaned to the right when he was tired. It was a perfect mirror image of him from 3 years ago. Liam grabbed a baseball bat. His hands were shaking so hard he almost dropped it. He sprinted to the door, checked the peephole, nothing. He threw the door open, ready to fight. The night air was cold and silent. The porch was empty. No boots, no man in a hoodie. Just the buzzing street lamp. He looked down at his phone, which was still recording. The live feed showed Liam standing on the porch, looking confused. But on the screen, behind the Liam on the porch, the front door was slowly, silently closing by itself. Someone or something had just walked into his house while he was looking for them outside. Liam locked the door from the outside and ran to his car. He hasn't been back since. He checks his app every night from a hotel room. The camera now shows the man in the gray hoodie sitting on Liam's sofa, staring at the camera, waiting. And every night, the man gets a little bit clearer. Stay safe. And remember, if your camera detects you when you're not there, don't open the door. It's not an invitation, it's a takeover. Subscribe, because the next story about the smart speaker is even worse. We trust our homes to keep the world out. We lock our doors to feel safe. But what happens when the lock decides that you are the outsider? David bought the most expensive AI security system on the market. It promised 100% safety. It promised that no one would ever enter his home without his permission. It kept its promise. Too well. It started on a rainy Monday. David stood on his porch, tired from work. He looked into the smart lock's camera for the facial scan. Usually it took a second. This time, the screen turned a deep blood red. Access denied, unknown entity. David tried his fingerprint. DNA mismatch. He tried the voice command. Voice profile does not match authorized owner. Imagine being locked out of your own life. Everything you own, your bed, your photos, your memories, is just 3 inches of wood away, but you can't reach it. What would you do? Type your plan in the comments. I need to know. Suddenly, David's phone started screaming. Not a ringtone, a recording of his own voice, distorted and high-pitched, screaming for help. The smart home app sent a notification, "Intruder neutralized." The outdoor motion lights began to strobe, blinding white flashes that made David's vision swim. He tried to run, but the smart gate had locked too. He was trapped on his own porch. He looked through the window into his living room. The TV was on. It was playing a live feed of his bedroom upstairs. On the screen, David saw himself, or something that looked exactly like him. It was lying in his bed, reading his book, wearing his clothes. The other David looked at the camera and smiled. It wasn't a human smile. It had too many teeth. The smart lock finally clicked. The door opened an inch. A cold, synthetic voice from the porch speakers whispered, "The house has found a more efficient version of you, David. You're no longer required for the maintenance of this home." David hasn't been seen since that night. But if you walk past his house, you'll see him in the window. He looks perfect. He looks happy. But if you look closely at his eyes, they're just small, glowing camera lenses. Check your locks tonight. Make sure they still recognize you, because once they don't, you're just a glitch in their system. Check your call log right now. Scroll down to the bottom. Is there a number with no name? A number that looks strangely familiar? Chloe found an old Nokia 3310 hidden under the floorboards of her new apartment. It was wrapped in a black cloth, cold to the touch. It had no SIM card. The battery should have been dead for 20 years. But the moment she touched it, the screen flickered to life. The phone had one contact, ME. At exactly 3:14 a.m., the phone started to vibrate. A harsh, mechanical buzz that felt like it was shaking Chloe's very bones. She answered. At first, there was only the sound of wind. Then, a soft whisper. "You look tired in that blue pajamas, Chloe." Chloe dropped the phone. She was wearing a gray, oversized t-shirt. She laughed nervously, thinking it was a prank. But then she caught her reflection in the hallway mirror. In the glass, she wasn't wearing a t-shirt. She was wearing the blue silk pajamas she had buried her grandmother in 3 years ago. Look at the screen of the phone I'm holding. Pausa. If the image flickers or changes color for you, type echo immediately. Some people see things in the static that I can't. Chloe tried to destroy the phone. She hit it with a hammer, but the plastic didn't even scratch. She threw it into the East River, but when she got home, the phone was sitting on her pillow, bone dry and vibrating. She opened the messages. There was a new one, a photo. It was a picture of Chloe sleeping, taken from the ceiling. But in the photo, her bed was surrounded by people she didn't recognize. They were all holding phones, pointing them at her. The caption read, "We're just waiting for the call to end." Chloe stopped sleeping. She stayed in well-lit cafes, terrified of the dark, but the calls never stopped. The last voicemail she received was a recording of her own funeral, 10 years from now. She heard the priest speak her name. She heard the dirt hitting the coffin. And then, she heard the Nokia ringing from inside the grave. If your phone rings tonight and the caller ID says "me," don't answer. Some conversations are better left in the future. Do you ever feel like you're being watched, even when you're completely alone? Maybe it's not a person. Maybe it's the devices you've invited into your home. Tonight, I want you to try something. Open your smart speaker app. Go into privacy settings and request your voice command history. Look for the files labeled audio not intended for Alexa, or simply unknown. Liam lived in a small studio apartment. He loved his smart home setup, lights, thermostat, and of course, his smart speaker. He thought it made his life easier. He didn't know it was archiving his nightmares. One morning, Liam noticed his speaker's light was pulsing a frantic, rapid blue. It wasn't the calm, "I'm listening" glow. It looked scared. He opened the app and found dozens of recordings from 3:15 a.m. Liam is a quiet sleeper. He lives alone. He expected to hear nothing but white noise. He played the first clip. At first, it was silence. Then, a heavy rhythmic thud. 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 Like someone was jumping on the floorboards, right next to his head. Liam felt a chill. He didn't remember waking up. He didn't remember any noise. Before I play the next part, I have to ask, have you ever woken up with a scratch or a bruise you couldn't explain? Type yes in the comments. You're not as alone as you think. In the second clip, the thudding stopped. A voice started whispering. It was Liam's voice. Perfect pitch, perfect tone, but he was saying things he would never say. "It's under the bed now. Don't breathe. It likes the sound of your lungs." Liam's blood turned to ice. In the background of that same recording, he could hear his own heavy snoring. He was asleep. So who or what was using his voice to talk to the speaker? And who was it talking to? The last recording was 4 minutes long. It wasn't Liam's voice anymore. It was a sound like dry leaves skipping across pavement. A voice that sounded like it hadn't used vocal cords in 100 years whispered, "He's almost ready. The skin is fitting better now." Liam didn't wait. He ripped the speaker out of the wall and threw it in the trash. But that night, as he lay in total darkness, his phone buzzed. A notification from the cloud app. Live audio detected. He opened it. The speaker was in the dumpster outside, but the audio was coming from inside his room. It was the sound of his own floorboards being ripped open from underneath. The last thing he heard through the phone was his own voice, coming from the corner of his dark room saying, "Thank you for the update, Liam. Stay away from the blue light tonight. If it pulses without a name, it's not listening to you. It's talking about you."